watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asori Balde. Wherever you're watching us from, we're saying a wonderful morning to you. And on the platform, I'm with Julde Njai. Good morning, Julde.
Good morning, Ibrahim.
You've been away for a while.
Yes,
and welcome back again.
Thank you. Good morning, Ibrahim. Good morning to our viewers from wherever you're watching us from. It's always good to be back.
Yes, it's good to be back on this program, to discuss a lot of things. I mean, review some of the stories making headlines.
Yeah.
And today we're going to change the format of the program. Normally we start with the African code and the newspaper review. We'll be changing that format. As you know, NYSS officially welcomes 15th batch to orientation camp. So we'll be engaging the minister, and of course that's Minister of Youth and Sport, Honorable Bakari Baji, and of course Abbas Ba, Executive Director, NYSS. But first, Julde, before we engage them, we would go straight to China. I mean, we have Musa Nget, President of the Gambian students in China. Recently, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, was in China, and they got the opportunity to meet with him, and they discussed many things. Some of those things are, issues, things that are affecting them while they're on their studies in China. So we have Mr. Nget on the line. We tried engaging him yesterday on this program, but due to some technical problems, we couldn't get to him. Yeah, so Mr. Nget, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Balde. I am fine.
Should I say mi hao? How do you say how are you in Chinese?
Ni hao, ma.
All right, so it's good to link again. I mean, we were trying to get through yesterday, but it was a bit difficult. We're just going to continue where we started. I mean, can you tell us some of the things that you put to the President of the Republic of the Gambia while he was in China for his visit?
Okay, thank you very much here on this morning show. The Gambian students in this way met the President, His Excellency, on the 4th of September. And we discussed 3 issues. One was in relation to the scholars.
President Adama Barrow.
That was promised by the Minister of Higher Education. They go to pay for 40 Gambian here who were on self-support. And then 2 is the employment. After people completing studies in China, people complain of not getting back to the system or not being able to give back to the country due to delays in getting appointments or not even having the opportunity for appointments. And then the 3rd issue was helping Gambian students who were here when they want to go back home to send some of their materials or helping in transporting their materials. So on the scholarship issue, through the Gambian embassy here in China, 14 Gambians' names were sent to higher education to request for a scholarship. And then during that process, higher education acknowledged that they will be able to support, and then they offered scholarships to all of them by writing and then sending it to the embassy. But as we speak now, we're still having this in ensuring that that commitment from the Minister of Higher Education is being fulfilled. So on the 7th of September, we had a meeting with the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Yusuf Ature, here in Beijing. So during the discussion, he assured us that the ministry is working towards getting those things paid. And then from the discussion we had with him, the requests have been sent to Central Bank, and then they're waiting on Central Bank to do the transactions. But we still pleaded that those things should be fastened, because here we have certain rules that if you fall into that trap, you have issues. Because those students are now having constraints in registering or in renewing their visas because their tuition fees have not been paid. And then in China, once you default in those kind of issues, you are charged. And then we are really having that. But even today, one of the students had called me saying that his university have notified that yes, still there is no payment, and then there is nothing being done. So what is to be done? So we have called higher education today again to confirm how far they have gone with central bank in making sure these payments have been processed to the Gambian embassy, who will make the payments to the various universities. We're really grateful to the Gambian embassy here in China, because they really made efforts to make sure that these 14 students are given this opportunity. But we're having challenge in making sure that money is being released to China for the payment of these 14 Gambians. We also told the president about these self-sponsored students, because we are not allowed to work. We don't have a work visa or study visa. They're not allowed to work. So if his government can help us provide stipend for these students, will be very, very helpful, because upkeep here is a bit different or challenging. So it's one of the issues that we discussed with the president, and he has assured us that even the scholarship issue has been discussed in cabinet, and then they are working towards it. But we're still pleading that the money need to be sent to the embassy so that this thing can be done. If not, circumstances of having some students going back home might be the only option for.
So Mr. Nget, were you giving a
it's
time?
Very expensive to pay within a short duration of time that amount of money involved. But the least student we have currently to pay is about 37,000 yuan. If you put all together, it's more than $6 million. So which is difficult for the union. The union doesn't even have or even 0.00% of that money. So we're pleading from the Minister of Higher Education, Central Bank, to fasten the process before we get into a situation where we cannot handle again. Because the students are really worried. We are all worried here as Gambian students, because our colleagues are not at ease, and then it's really a big challenge.
Yes.
So the other issue we discussed was in connection to employment. Because everybody wants to go and give back to your country. So, and then when people finish their programs, when they go back, some of them complain of being frustrated and every day not having the required job, which is pushing them to move out of the Gambia, and then they want to give back to the country. So we're pleading with the president through his government to help people who are graduates, not only Chinese, but any other person that comes into the Gambia. And the third part was in connection with people going back home to facilitate their transport back home. And he assured us that his government will work towards all those issues, despite the challenges being faced due to some of the economic crisis in various countries.
Yes, so Mr. Nget, can you tell us, I mean, the areas, I mean, the scholarship, is it only going to focus on students studying medicine? I hope he's getting me.
Hello, Mr. Balde, am I?
Yeah, yes, I just want to know, on what areas is this scholarship focusing? Is it only students studying medicine?
No, the scholarship across all areas. We have some doing engineering, some economics, some into medicine. So the across.
So were you giving a time frame whereby this will come into effect? Because it's from the way you are talking, it's like you are running out of time.
Yes, there is no time frame being given. That's why with the Minister of Higher Education to work with make sure this, because schools have resumed since last week, and our colleagues could not get their could not get that because their tuition fees are not paid. Then
all right,
all because this is not paid, and then if
thank you very much,
this is
Mr.
not paid.
Yes, thank you for talking to us on QTV this morning, and we'll follow the development and see. I believe we will call you on our subsequent programs to update us as to the happenings.
Thank you, Mr. Balde, for having me here.
Thank you. Yeah, so back to the studios here, and we have the Minister for Youth and Sport, Honorable Bakari Baji, and Abbas Ba, Executive Director, NYSS. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here again.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Ba, how are you?
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm fine.
It's good to have you here. Let's start with the NYSS officially welcomes the 15th batch of 200 young people to acquire skills. Please take us through what NYSS does.
Thank you very much. First, I would want to thank the listeners out there who are watching this program. The NYSS is one of the agencies under the Ministry of Youth and Sports and is mandated to help young people acquire skills for employment. For this, we have been training different badges, but this is the 15 badges, and we call them the main badge. NYSS have a series of badges. We have a program called the ATP, which is the Apprenticeship Training Program. We have the other one that is called the Special Badge, which is the Rice Agronomy. We have a camp in Sapo that helps young people to be trained on rice. But last year, we also have a new badge, which is called the National Youth Service Graduate Program. This targets young people who are coming from the University of the Gambia. Through the Honorable Minister last year, the President of the Republic launched that program because we realized that many young people are coming from the university and they need employment. And most of the time, the employers will ask for experience. So government come in to ensure that those young people coming out from the university fresh are oriented by the NYSS and deployed for 1 year on internship. They are also paid allowances of $5,000, which is provided by the Gambia government. And sometimes we have donor support to a limited extent. But the whole program is initiated and supported by the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Youth and Sports under the dynamic leadership of the Honorable Minister. But currently, the one we are implementing is called the Skill Acquisition Program. This targets young people who have completed grade 12 and are looking into to go further. Particularly those are interested in skill acquisition like carpentry, welding, auto mechanic, construction, tailoring, restaurant management, among others. So normally what we do at the beginning of the recruitment exercise, we develop criteria and forms, and we also go on sensitization, consultations within the regions, because the program is an all-inclusive program, and that's why in every region we send number of forms so that people can apply, young people can apply, and they will be recruited into the program. And combined from KM to Basse, each region will at least have a quota or an amount of young people that will be recruited into the program. Combined, that's what makes it 200. But this year, the importance of this program is having 3 other issues that we have put in. We factor in the gender disparity. This is the first time we have female more than male. We have 96 young men and we have 104 females who are the 200 batch. But we also bring in the differently able young people whom we think are hard to reach. They are also part of this team. We also have returnees. These are all people that we are not benefiting from the program, but they are now benefiting from the program. And the reason why this year we think is a great program, this particular program have not recruited 200 young people for so long. Most of the time it is only 130, 133, the highest is 150. But with the intervention of the Honorable Minister, the number was increased to 200 to cater for the many young people that are now graduating.
So we'll get back to you on that. Let's at this point engage the Honorable Minister. I mean, with your intervention, you were able to increase the number to 200. You know, what is of interest to you? I mean, to your ministry. I mean, to collaborate with NYSS. I mean, to support them in this initiative.
Well, good morning, and good morning to the viewers and to everyone, to all of you. Like I said, we are happy to be here. NYSS is actually one of the institutions under the ministry. Because the Ministry of Youth and Sports has various institutions, the National Youth Council, Sport Council, NYSS, NEDI, and quite a number of others. So the increment in the number, it's like he said, it's because we are having more young people now. Now, our idea is we cannot continue to get the same number since the establishment of the NYSS, because at the time, maybe the population of the country was still majority young, but not the level that it is now. So the intention is, as we grow as a country, then we also need to cater for more young people. And also, of course, it's also about funding sometimes. You don't have all the funding coming at the same time. So we need to also find a way to limit it. But we still thought it's important to add about 50 or 70 young people to what we used to have, so that if you are giving a region, example, 15 young people. Now you can increase it to 20 and then be able to cater for more. And he will tell you we have a huge number of applicants that they cannot even take care of. So, so the increment is purely based on trying to reach as many as we can in the communities.
So when you talk about the scheme, is it 100% government funded? And in terms of their accommodation and everything, is it been taken care of by the ministry, or they are taking care of their own accommodation?
No, we take care of everything. The program is exclusively funded by government, and that starts from the orientation. I mean, even before the orientation, the recruitment process, going to the regions, engaging the regional authorities, distributing the forms, and then the interviews. And then when they report to camp, like they did last Wednesday, they are giving a package. And in the package, it includes their wares, their sport wear, the shorts and the NYSS T-shirts, the shoes, the socks. And for ladies, they are giving their sanitary pads and all of that. So it's all inclusive. And they are camped at the NYSS camp here in Bakau, because it has a dormitory for both male and female. So the male is in the female dormitory, and then, I mean, the male is in the male dormitory and the female on their side. And for the 1 month that they will be in camp, government provides their feeding, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and whatever medical expenses they might need. And so, yeah, so it's absolutely funded by the ministry, or government through the ministry. And, of course, we have our partners who support, the Gambia Armed Forces, the police, because they provide the men, officers who come to the ground to train these young people. Because the 1 month orientation camp, they don't even go home. They are permanently there, and from Monday to Saturday, they're exclusively on their programs. Sundays, then they open up for families to come and visit. And then they also have the free time to interact, cut their hair and plait, because the men actually do ball hair, just like how is this in the military or in the security. And they do a regimental training. Early morning, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, they get up and go and pray a jog. When they come back, they pray. They have the cleaning of the camp, and then the session, leadership session starts. You know, so we believe that by the time they're done with the 1 month, they would have been more disciplined than they came in. They would have understood what it means to be a Gambian and a patriotic citizen for that matter. And then they will be more ready to go out there and face the realities of life. And then they get to do the 2-year training and then come back later on and do the passing out. So it's a very comprehensive program, but yes, it's government funded. Yeah,
so Mr. Ba, you know, at this point, what is the mode of selection for those who want to participate, you know, to this camp?
Thank you very much, Mr. Balde. The mode of selection is very open and is all, like I said earlier, is all inclusive. We don't discriminate anybody. During the selection process, these forms are distributed in the regions, and we do this in consultation with the regional youth committee, with the area councillors that are in the region, and sometimes even with the governor's office. So every young person who is within the Gambia and within that region who is interested can go to the area council, to the youth office, and then collect this form, fill it, and then submit it back to the council. And then you'll go through the process of screening and interviewing, and then if you are suitable, then you are selected. So it's open to everybody. It's like every young Gambian who have grade 12 and is willing to learn skills, you are eligible to be selected into the program. Yep.
So, Honorable Minister, when it comes to the impact that the scheme has had over the years, what would it be? Because the scheme started way back in 1996 and it was relaunched in 2023 by President Adama Barrow. So when we are looking at the impact over the years, what is it?
Well, the impact is huge. Like the director said, now here we are dealing with young people who come from disadvantaged families, most of them. Now, if they finish grade 12, they might have already struggled to reach grade 12, which is this basic education. Now, and when they're done with that, maybe their parents cannot even pay for them to go to GTTI because they cannot afford it, or they cannot go to Sheikh Mahfouz or inside training or somewhere else. But they have an interest in developing a skill. So that's where the NYSS comes in and take them and orient them and then put them in these institutions, and they pay for their tuition fee for the entire 2 years. And not only are they paying for tuition fee, they're actually also giving them a monthly stipend to take care of their transport to go to the institution and come back on a monthly basis. So that is one impact. So here you are giving a young person an opportunity to have a skill, and you believe that after the 2 years, he would be employable. So it's up to him now to either go and do internship and get more skills and then get a job, or create something for himself by virtue of being an entrepreneur or something. So that's one. Secondly, like you said, this year we are looking at young people that have returned from the migration, illegal migration, the back way. Now, when they come back, these are people that were trying to pursue a better life. And because maybe they're frustrated with whatever is happening here, they bring them in, and then you give them a second chance, an opportunity to go and get the skill that they need. And the hard of hearing, a lot of times they are not considered in some of the programs that are done because of their disability or whatever. So we are bringing them also and giving them an opportunity. And there are a few, 2 or 3 that are also had problems with the law. They were incarcerated and they come back, and then this is a second chance for them to rebuild their life and then get back to being Gambians that are patriotic. So these are some of the issues, but that is for them. Now, for the country, we are reducing the number of unemployment when we create all of these opportunities for these young people. And then also we are contributing to the economy, because once they graduate, they start to work, they continue to pay tax, or then they have a company and they create employment for other young people as well. So these are some of the benefits that are there. And who knows, maybe if they wouldn't have this opportunity, probably they would have been using drugs or other things, and it wouldn't be good. So many of these opportunities are there for them.
There are countries that, you have to, once you finish your grade 12, you have to pass through a program like this before you are even given an opportunity somewhere. The likes of Nigeria, we've seen that. So, Mr. Ba, should we call this a mini military camp? It looks like it. It sounds like it.
Well, it's part of building the disciplinary aspect of the young people while they are young, because whatever qualification you have, if you don't have discipline, you cannot excel in life. And the NYSS is very committed to ensure that young people have discipline in whatever they are doing. And this is why when you go to the schools where we deploy them, they are different with the other ones. You can see the way they behave, the way they answer, the way they do their work is all different, because they have passed through an orientation. And like during the orientation, because they are oriented not only by providing lectures, but also by the military and the police. So that commitment and respect to authority is also in them. And just to add to what the Honorable Minister said about the impact, we have also seen some people who have graduated from NYSS. Today they have their own mini companies. Like in Basse, we have a young person who is doing solar installation around Basse. It was difficult to have some technicians like that, but he is there and he has employed other young people to join him. And the list goes on. If you go to WASU, there are also people who went through the program. They were welders, now they're in WASU doing their welding. And they have bring other young people. These are some of the impact that we are trying to say. It will train one, and then he'll be able to employ 1 or 2 other people to work with the individual. Because government cannot create employment for everybody. But through these other schemes, we can be able to multiply the employment creation, and we can multiply the impact so that we can all have the maximum benefit.
Exactly. So, Honorable, how does the ministry intend to track, these people after their training to make sure, okay, wow, these people, they've finished their camp and now they are really progressing? Because at some point, we need such kind of data to understand how this training is impacting the youths.
No, yeah, they do. I think at a particular, there was a time that the NYSS did, how do they call it? A tracer study to be able to identify where these young people are, those that have passed through the program. What are they doing? Are they employed, or did they have a company, or did they even travel? And then they were able to figure out that majority of them are employed. Some of them probably they couldn't trace them, but others have. Of course, some of them will go and join the military or the security, the army, because of the kind of orientation they have and they get to love it. There are others that have also getting employed into the government mainstream system. Some are into the private sector. So maybe it will be about time also we do a tracer study after this batch to know where the others are, and then maybe in the coming years, the leadership of the Ministry of Government can also do a tracer study. But they did a tracer study in the past, and just to identify that the program is very impactful. And like I said, you see these things in the regions everywhere you go, and young people get the interest. And that is why anytime they advertise like the other time, they have a huge number of applicants beyond what they can even take. But that shows you that tells you that young people are interested and they see the impact of their colleagues getting through this program and being successful in life.
It's one thing to acquire skills and then to be given the opportunity. But once these young people have the skills and what it takes, the employment part of it, as part of the scheme, are they given some incentives, loans or grants to be able to start up their own businesses?
Yeah, I think this is where the Honorable Minister have said the Ministry of Youth and Sports is an all-inclusive ministry. The NYSS will provide the skills training, and then NEDI will come in to provide the grant support so that they can be able to have equipment to start working. So if you look at it, it's very elaborate, but you have to support each agency to do what it is doing. So at the end of the day, when you put it together, you can produce a very good results. So we have, the ministry have a program which will capture the young person from the entry to the exit. So by the time you are exiting, you already have something with yourself that you can be able to use to get employment or employ others. I'm sure he would come to that and explain the other departments.
How it's done,
Yeah, so Honorable Minister, is this part of the long-term plan to at least reduce youth unemployment?
Yeah, it is. It is part of what government is doing to ensure that the unemployment is reduced. And like I said earlier on, with the numbers that are coming, and like for instance, if you look at last year, we had 100 young people that were in the university graduate, that were in the National Youth Service graduate program. 3 years ago, we had the NYSS 200 that were just graduated recently in July. That's about 130 something. And now we have 200. So in the last 3 years, we have supported close to 400 young people that have gone through the NYSS various programs. And that is 400 reduction from the unemployment. At least the opportunity has been created for them. And that is just the NYSS. NEDI is there. That is also part of the ministry that is giving grants on a yearly basis to young people. In May, we distributed about 1,450,000 to young people to start up their businesses. And the previous year, we gave $2 million to Gambian young people. And that's just the grant. The loan is a different one, which is also part of the ministry for those that have already established businesses to apply. And if they qualify, they get supported. So the NDP also create those opportunities. I mean those indicators that government have a responsibility to create opportunities for young people. We cannot create employment for all of them, but we can create the opportunities for them to be skilled and for them to get into business and be employed.
True. Julda?
So finally, when it comes to the challenges that you encounter at the NYSS, what would it be?
Yes, you know, challenges are always there, but we see how best we mitigate them. And thank God we are able to mitigate them. These are at the start. But then now we are okay because we were looking how to start it. Now we have started because of financial issues, but it was just budgetary issue for us to clear. But it was not something that was stopping us from going into the program because our whole budget is approved by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and we have the funding to ensure that this orientation is fully implemented without any challenges in terms of funding. But as NYSS as an institution, we would want to definitely build the capacity within there and increase the reach, because we think the number that we are recruiting now is still now in our eye very low. We want to increase to high so we can capture many young people in the program to make it very successful. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Honorable Minister, before we go, what role can the public and the private sector play in complementing the ministry's effort?
No, that's a good one. I mean, like we said, currently this program is fully funded by government, and the number of applicants is always high. But government limits to, well, this year now to 200 because primarily there are two things, bad funding and also about the camp, because the camp cannot take even anything more than 200. Even the 200, I have forced them to say, well, we have to do the 200 and find a way to fit them in. So we have to take some people out of their offices to be able to transform those offices into temporal bedrooms, you know, for lodging for the extra number that we have. So maybe this is where now the corporate, the private sector can come in and contribute towards either supporting the program, either financially or taking up a program and say, okay, maybe I can build a dormitory or something. These are things that we see happen in other countries where dorms are sponsored by certain private institutions. So, but again, when these young people graduate, also they need the jobs. Some of them would create something for themselves, but most of them also would need to be employed, and maybe the private sector can do that. And the university graduate program, also, of course, I think most of the 100 that we are taking last year are all assumed into the system, either by government or the private sector. But there was a challenge in terms of the private sector taking some of those young people. So the majority ended up being in the public sector, but maybe they were interested in the private sector. So we want to call on the private sector to support the program, either one of them, either in terms of the institutional financial support, or in terms of the facilities that are needed, or in creating those employment opportunities for our young people that graduate. And again, just to end, some of them go to GTGI, others go to several institutions. When they finish their 2 years, they are expected to do at least about 6 months or 1 year of internship, just to be able to hone their skills. Again, the private sector can play a key role in that. They normally write letters to the institutions to say, we want you to take this number of young people for a number of months or so. But yeah, so I think generally that's what we will say. For the public, the support is there. I mean, like I said, the number of applicants we have, the interest that people have in the NYSS tells us that the public is appreciative of what is happening. And government also recognizes that. That is why we keep on doing our best to increase numbers and to improve on what we're doing.
So I know we said that was the final one.
Yes,
that's fine.
But the scheme for the university graduates, does it apply to all the schools, or you have specific schools that would be embarking on that scheme?
No, for now it's only the University of the Gambia, because it's specific to university graduates. Now, our intention is that after the pilot program, which was launched last year by the president, we would then look at other universities as well, the other universities that are in the country. And now with the coming in place of the University of Science and Technology, we would hopefully also be able to extend to those universities. Of course, it also means having more budget and be able to recruit more young people from the University of the Gambia. Because, I mean, if I was going to gauge this current batch that is just finishing now, I mean, the university graduate program, we would rate it almost 100% success because of the number of employment that he has created. I'm not sure, I don't have the exact numbers, but I know that majority that we interacted with have already been employed, even before their 1 year elapsed. Some of them were already employed, and others were employed in August or September, August, when the 1 year elapsed. So that is, for us, a success, and it shows that people can be challenged, and then they can get the employment that they need. On a final note, I think Mr. Abazi talked about the ATP, which is an apprenticeship training program. Now, that does not really require any educational background, because some of them might have stopped at grade 6 or didn't even finish grade 9. Those are the ones that we target in the ATP. So this year we are not recruiting ATP, but hopefully next year we'll be recruiting the ATP, which is specific for those young people that have not had any formal education, or maybe stop only at grade 9 at the highest level.
And all of these schemes are free?
They are 100% free. There is no attached, nothing.
I'm worried about the sustainability part of it.
Well, I think we observe them as we go, but then it's something that we must do, because again, there is so much investment in other sectors. The young people are the majority in this country, and then we, as a government, as a ministry, have a responsibility to create opportunities for them. So we are calculating the numbers. If at any time we feel that it is too high, we minimize the intake, because there was a time also there was virtually no recruitment for a while. Maybe it's because of funding. So it depends on the leadership at the time. And one thing I know is that this government is very committed to contribute whatever we can to ensure that we support our young people.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bakari Baji. Bakari Y. Baji.
He will sue us. Don't allow the Jola to sue us.
Okay, and Abbas Ba for coming. And we will follow. Maybe when they are finishing their camp, then you can invite us. We'll come and do some coverages. Yeah, so thank you very much. We'll take a short break. And after the break, then the newspaper review. We'll be right back.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think Free Night Browsing. QCell's Free Night Browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Bus. We innovate, others follow.
If you're just tuning in, this is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Now let's move to the other segment of the program.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be the newspaper.
Are we doing the quote?
No, we have to definitely start with the quote.
You should have given the minister the quote.
Yes, I should have engaged the minister, but it's never late because I believe he will be back here another time. But there was a time we engaged him on our platform here on a particular
He's always been very accommodating.
Yeah, so let's try and see what we have on the African code today. It reads, can I give you the honor to go through it, Julde? Or Mr. Ade?
I don't have it, so it have to be either of you two.
Okay, so our quote this morning reads, "Do not think the lion is asleep just because it is not roaring."
Roaring.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Abuko Nature Reserve lion. When it is roaring, at some point you'll hear it from my like up to my house. I mean,
Still?
No, there is
I was
no
just
lion
checking
now.
to see if I had it.
Yeah, but during it's very far. My home and the nature reserve is very far. Imagine from Abuko Nature Reserve to my home in Mandinari.
And did you tremble when you heard the roar?
Well, I mean,
because you thought maybe it has escaped.
That's why when people roar, I don't worry much. I've been hearing the sound of a lion for a long time. Yeah, so it's a very interesting proverb, and it has a lot of meaning.
So what's your take on it?
Let's give Julia the first take. She's not been here, so we've been taking a lot of it. So
we've been having to take the first take.
Let's hear from Julde. Please help us.
I'm sure the viewers are
We are not good with African proverbs.
So I am good at it.
You are good at everything.
Take it away, Julia.
So, yeah. So, it's an interesting one. For me, my own interpretation of the proverb is the fact that just because you don't have to, people do not react to a particular situation or circumstance, doesn't mean that the situation it's not deep or it's something that is not affecting them or impacting them. Sometimes people just choose to be quiet and let things slide, not because they are not hurt about what is happening to them, or they are not affected by what is really happening to them, but because they decided to just let it go and then, you know, choose their battles wisely. So yeah, for me, because the lion, you know, because do not think the lion is asleep just because it is not roaring. It doesn't really mean that, you know, it's always asleep. Sometimes the lion can be awake, but it just decided to be at its own, you know, corner and then mind its own business. It doesn't mean that it is necessarily asleep. So yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's a similar thing, because the lion, of course, it could be stalking its prey quietly and silently before it pounces, because of course if it roars it would alert the prey and that prey will run away.
Yeah.
So the fact that in the literal sense, of course, the lion, but we also take it in the metaphorical sense that, you know, just because somebody's not making a whole bunch of noise doesn't mean that, as you said, doesn't mean that there's something deeper going on. And sometimes it's about people, you know. There are people who are not very demonstrative, they're not loud, they're not gregarious and you know, sort of bubbly, but, you know, there's a depth to them, and they're quite deep. And sometimes people go and you go and trouble them because you think, oh, because this person is quiet, they're stupid, or they're this, they're that. And then you live to regret it when they react. So, you know, as I said, but in the literal sense, the lion could be stalking and quietly stalking its prey, and it's not going to roar because it doesn't want to alert the prey. And similarly, you might not want to reveal your talents, your abilities to everybody until the time is right.
Right.
When you demonstrate and everybody goes,
strike.
I never knew you could do that.
Yeah.
And that's always a fantastic buzz when you do something that nobody expects, and they think, wow, so you can do this?
Do this,
so,
yeah.
Yes.
Balde.
As quiet as a mouse, as dangerous as a machine gun. Well, I think that interprets it for me. As quiet as a mouse, but as dangerous as a machine gun.
Well, explain that, because that's a proverb in itself. You can't use a proverb to explain a proverb.
Not because I am quiet, or not because, you know, I don't want it. It's because maybe I did not get it too. That can work as well. You know, sometimes people might not be willing to get up and prove themselves because they believe, okay, getting up to prove myself might be useless. So let me just hold it to my corner. You know, when the time comes, they will know whether I know or I can do certain things. There are times that, you know, proving yourself or showing you can do it can be very hard and very difficult. Because at some point, people might not, at that instant, proving yourself you know, doesn't worth it. Just give it some time. You will realize if the individual can do it right.
Yes, I mean, and sometimes in a kind of wider sense, you go to a country and they tell you, oh, this country is very peaceful. But it might be that all the citizens are scared to say or do anything because if they raise their voices, somebody will come down hard on them. So it, you know, it doesn't mean that just because there's quiet that there's peace. It's not quite the same thing. So yeah, but
there must be strings attached to it.
There might be strings. There not must be. There might be because some countries are quiet and fine. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I like this one. Yeah.
Exactly.
The lion and the sleep and the
so Julda, do we have papers?
Yeah, we have.
In fact, whilst you're looking for those papers, did any of you feel the West African earthquake that happened yesterday?
No, I mean.
None of you?
Actually,
you didn't?
Or you felt an earthquake?
There was a political earthquake. Let me be honest. Sissoho Embalo announced that he's not going to run. He's only done one term. He's not going to seek a second term. And it went on Reuters, Al Jazeera, DW, they all carried the story. It's a big story. In Africa, it's almost unheard of for a president to do just one term and then say, I'm not going to contest. Usually what you get is a president trying to fiddle the constitution so they can stay forever. So for somebody to say, that he's not going to run, I did print it because it kind of came late. He will not seek a second term.
When is the Guinea-Bissau's election?
Next year.
Next year.
2025. Last time he beat Domingos Simoes Pereira. He got 54% of the vote. Embalo. He's 51. He's quite young.
Is it already for almost 4 years?
Yeah, 2020.
Well, I can remember their last election.
2020.
Yeah. It's like yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people are kind of thinking, because when he announced the thing at the end of the Council of Ministers, he said, I'm not running again because my wife has advised me not to run. Now, we don't know whether he was making a joke or whether that is the real reason. Yeah, but he says he's not nominating. He didn't offer to nominate any of his deputies as his likely successor as well.
But let's see, because sometimes people can be very cunning and deceiving.
Politicians.
Who knows? Nobody knows. Maybe
the
dynamic might
but
change.
for somebody to come out and say publicly, I am not going to run, that's fairly categorical. It's not like I might or I might not, like you had with Macky Sall, who said, no, if I wanted to contest again, the Constitution allows me to. Then you're sitting, he's not sitting on the fence. He's been quite categorical. I am not going to run. It's only a year away.
Well, I believe if he maintains his position, it's definitely going to be.
It will be a first in
Africa.
Because the
maybe certainly in West Africa. It might have happened in other places, although I'm struggling to think where.
The Constitution.
Mandela, but he was old. Yeah.
Something like that happened to John Kufuor. But I think he did his second term.
No. This what we're saying. Somebody who did a first term, one term, and said, "I'm not going to seek a second." That's unusual certainly in West Africa. And I was trying to kind of look up before I came on air whether there are other examples in West Africa or in any other parts of Africa. Somebody's probably going to contact us and say, "Yes, it's happened in such and such a country." But whichever country that is, it sort of escapes me for the moment. But I can't think of any.
Even Cape Verde.
Cape Verde, what you've had is that when a sitting president lost the election by 12 votes, the Electoral Commission asked him whether he wanted a recount, and he said no, because the law allows you within a certain amount of votes that you could seek a recount, and he stood down. But
that was exemplary.
Yeah. In fact, because of that, he ended up winning the Mo Ibrahim Prize. But I'm trying to think of who else might have won it for standing down. Johnson Sirleaf did 2 terms, so she didn't stand down. But it's unusual.
All right, let's wish him good luck, and I hope many African leaders will follow his steps. I mean, it's not easy to step down after one term.
It's very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Imagine when you're driving through traffic, everybody gets out of the way. They stop traffic for 2 hours before you come, and you just sail through. And then you think people don't have traffic problems because you don't have any. And this is the enjoyment that presidents don't
Sometimes the presidency, if people complain about traffic congestion, I mean, at some point he will be like, what's happening?
What are they talking about?
What are they talking about, actually? Because
every time I go out, it takes me 10 minutes from here to the airport. What are they talking about?
Why are they complaining? The roads are free. So have you seen the preliminary report?
Seen it, digested it, and because I'm such a nerd, I even took home the hard copy yesterday with me. I only read about 4 or 5 pages, I have to admit, because I was watching a documentary that I wanted to finish watching. But yes, I mean, I guess the headline from that is that the population, it's a preliminary one. It's not. We carried a news report on it on QTV News last night. It's 2.4 million. It's been But I guess by the time of the end of the adjustment, I suspect it'll still be around 2.4, 2.5 million. So a slight increase on the last census, which was always at 2.1 for quite a number of years. But then I thought it might be more, but then that's just not through any scientific data that I have, just a kind of feeling that the population had grown. But yeah, so 2.4. But I think Julia did some disaggregation.
Yes, on the report,
in terms of
there is a particular portion that talks about the livelihood of Gambians. I mean, I just want to go through,
because it was a population and household census. It wasn't just population.
Exactly.
So it looked at what people did.
In the Gambia, 47.2% of households engage in agriculture. Banjul and Kanifing, they have lower involvement, 8.7% and 14.6%, while Mansa Konko, Kerewan, Kuntaur, Chanjambure and Basse have high participation, ranging from 75.6% to 91.6%. But that's expected.
Well, I was going to say that's
that's expected.
It's expected, but they're quite high, those figures, for 90 whatever. But yes, in a farming community, of course, what else would you expect? In the urban areas, there's obviously less farming, but still you go around and you see people having their vegetable gardens where they grow vegetables, even in urban areas. And lots of people, they'll have a kind of concrete path in their house, but you see them growing, cassava and tomatoes and stuff like that. So yeah, but it would be good to have a proper deep dive into it. As I said, I started reading it, but I got distracted yesterday and I didn't finish. I didn't finish it. It's not that long, actually.
No, it's not.
It's not like the draft constitution.
Hey. 171 pages. No, it's not. This one is about 20 pages or so.
Jules, should we proceed?
Yeah, what else? What other stories? I saw some other interesting stories.
We have the
others. Gambia orders seized over 83 tons of drugs in 2023 report.
Yeah. And the reason why that's interesting is that because in his, I wouldn't say resignation speech exactly, but in his speech saying that he wasn't going to contest, Sissoho Embalo talked about, there have been accusations that he's involved in drug running and so on. So that's still a problem for Guinea-Bissau, because what people tend to overlook is that there are many, many islands, about 80-something islands that are part of Guinea-Bissau, and only a few of them are populated, are inhabited. And so it is alleged that a lot of these are used as a drop-off point for drugs, particularly from Brazil and other parts of South America. So our region, we have to be vigilant, but we don't have very strong navies to kind of patrol the seas and stop ships that might be coming close to our shores to kind of drop off drugs. These days they don't tend to come by plane, because a plane lands somewhere and it's easy to spot it or hear it. They can't do it silently, but less so with a ship. So yes, drugs are being seized, different types of drugs, obviously. But yeah, it's still a problem.
Gambia owes Senelec 10 billion CFA francs.
So what's 10 billion CFA in dollars? I think they should have converted it for us. We're all struggling this morning.
I should be able to help.
There you go. You can do, yes, 10 billion. Yes, is what.
You want to know?
Yes.
What do you actually want to know?
Dollars equivalent. Simple.
Okay. All right. I'll try checking that. It's important for us to check those facts.
Because for us, CFA,
like how much is 10 billion?
10 billion CFA doesn't
CFA to Gambian dollars.
Yeah, it doesn't kind of. Yeah.
We will know that.
Yeah. So yes.
So that's a lot.
Yeah. It sounds a lot. It sounds like they owe a lot of money, and of course, it's for provision of electricity. Which and we all thought this kind of OMVG project will take away the need for things like that,
exactly.
And that should have been from October of last year, even, but it doesn't seem to have happened to the extent that we had expected, and so we keep having this. Maybe we can ask Senelec to write it off.
You see, we do our findings as well, as media people. I mean, I think there is a delay when it comes to that OMVG project?
Yeah, we know, we know. Oh, yeah, we know. I mean, we've covered it, so we know. But what I'm saying is that, you know, the prediction had been that it would be up and running and that everybody will be benefiting from it. But there have been some delays, there have been some hiccups, and it's not delivering at the moment as it should, but it's still ongoing. So, you know, fingers crossed. In fact, having said that, I'll go and check as soon as I leave here, see if we can get an update on the project, really. But yeah, any other story? So yes, so you're still working out what the safer Dallas.
Yes, I want to get the facts.
So Julia, in the meantime, what else? What other story? Whilst
whilst
you're counting your fingers, your toes, and the hairs.
Calculation.
Fingers,
so
toes,
Julia
and the
can
hairs
help
on
us
your
while I figure this out.
Deputy Speaker Njai Nams takes stand against ministers over insufficient answers.
No, read that again.
Deputy Speaker Njai,
yes,
Nams takes stand against ministers over insufficient answers.
Yeah, the reason I wanted you to read that again is that I think it's slightly deceptive because I watched the exchange to which that headline is referring.
Okay.
And what the Deputy Speaker wanted to do, he wanted to clarify for the National Assembly members that if you ask a minister a question and the minister gives you an answer, just the fact that you don't like it doesn't mean that the minister then has to try and find an answer that you will like.
Yeah.
And he went to explain exactly in those words. The minister doesn't have to give, he used the term, the minister doesn't have to give an answer that satisfies you. The minister can give the answer that he or she can give. It doesn't have to be one that satisfies you necessarily because, you know, and to be honest, some of them were getting up and they were asking questions because we carried it live and people don't have to take my word for it. But some of them, they hadn't done their research. They were asking ministers stuff that wasn't their remit. So, you know, do your work, do your research.
That's not
and
a
say,
surprise
this is the minister.
To National Assembly proceedings.
You know, this is the minister who's coming.
Case,
yeah, this is the minister who's coming. Or what do I want to ask him or her? And what is their remit? What is their mandate?
Yeah.
You don't ask them about another minister's work and then you expect them to answer. And then you say you're not satisfied with the answer. Or you ask them about their work and they, you know, they give you an answer about their work and then you say, oh, but what about this? What about that? I mean, there was quite a heated exchange with Ahmad Ba.
Yeah.
They said he was being evasive over, you know, whether these the people should get allowances or salaries and so on, and he was saying no, they don't get a salary.
So
they get an allowance.
It's $1 billion.
That's still big.
It's still big.
It's still big.
Yes, it's still big.
So it would be good to know, you know, is there a payment plan? Is there a structure for when we can pay? And how did we come to owe that amount? Why was it not paid kind of incrementally?
Well, how effective is the Senelec to the Gambia? You know, we still want to know because we have the Senelec, we have car power, we have multiple energy driving centers,
and more and more people are drawing from these. You know, as the population grows, we've just heard about the census. More people are requiring electricity. You go to a house, you'll see a fridge. They'll have a fan. You'll have people plugging in to do their devices. There'll be the, I don't know, DVD player possibly or something.
Electric kettle.
Lots of electrical gadgets. So we're all drawing, and so the demand is increasing, but we're not keeping pace with that rise in demand. So it's a valid question that you're asking. How effective are all of these, Senelec, car power, and all of these? As you and I know, on a daily basis, you know, there was a time when our colleague Buba Fati was kind of teasing me because I would drop him off in the evening, and as we drove by my house before I could turn under the bridge at Coastal Road, he would say, oh, I can see you don't have light in your compound. And that was, for 2 weeks, that was the case. Yeah, every time I would go home around 9, 10 o'clock, 10:30.
After 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's it. Because I have one of these ultraviolet things for kind of attracting insects away from you and into them. And it would come on. And I would always check the time. And it would be like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm like, what the hell do I need the light at that time? I need it at 9, between 9 and midnight, or 9 and 1 a.m., you know. But So it's still a challenge, and not just for the Gambia. One has to be honest.
Yeah.
Many African countries are struggling with electricity generation, but we're moving there. We had the instance when the president opened this solar electricity generating plant, and we need more of those in the Gambia and in the rest of Africa.
You know, it's important for us to go, Mr. Ade, as a news team or as TV hosts and presenters, to go and see how effective is the solar plant as well. Because it's not just a matter of hanging those plates, but it's a matter of knowing how effective are they providing electricity.
Well, one of my colleagues who says he benefits from it was, you know, in fact, it's Buba Fati. He said, I don't know what you guys are complaining about electricity. He said, I can't remember the last time I went home and didn't have light. So some people are benefiting, but others are not. And it depends on which bit of the grid you're on or you're benefiting from.
Well, honestly,
I don't know why my colleague Lena Igwiniba is trying to call me when I'm on air, but she is.
Well, it's a different thing, because most of it, like almost 3/4 of the population, complain about lack of electricity and water.
Yeah.
You know, while other people
we've had, you know, NAWEC have been taken to task by various committees, by the National Assembly, about that very thing, you know, saying, yes, we know there are problems, but the problems seem to be really bad. And like I said earlier, you know, increasing population, people building more houses that require water and services. We see now communities, people putting up boreholes and stuff because they don't want to rely on a kind of centrally you know, generated water supply. So, yeah.
Well, you know, the borehole water too, it's important for the water to be treated.
I think most people, when they do that, they are told this. That
Yes,
you
but treating
need
the
to
water, sometimes you just, I mean, put a borehole somewhere without treating the water, Mr. Ali. That can be also dangerous.
It can be deadly because there could be you know, bacteria
It can
in
be
there
contaminated.
that's not that's not treated, and it needs to be. But I think, as I said, in most places, if it's a reputable company that's installing the borehole, they will tell you that don't just stick this in the ground and then start drinking from it. You need to drop something in there to treat the
chlorine.
water.
Ms. Ade, the time is up.
What? I refuse to leave.
Yes.
Already?
No, we definitely will give you a cup of coffee so that you can leave.
So was it the minister who ate into my time?
The minister consumed all your time into portions, little portions.
I will forgive him then, because it was an important topic.
Yes, so thank you very much, and we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll engage Churchill Balde, you know, on the click segment. We'll be right back.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Aji Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future, tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. After engaging the Honorable Minister and the Executive Director for NYSS, Abbas Ba, then we engaged Mr. Ade Drame on the newspaper review. Although we couldn't review most of the stories we have. Now, let's move to the last segment of this program. That's the click segment with my brother Churchill Balde.
Man in black.
Man in gore.
Lo min bay
na gore sumaraka.
Wa lo min bay lo.
Saka bi mu ngi amé ay keseng. Saka bi naka la mo amé keseng.
I'm a man with steam.
No, waaye dafa war a gore nag xoolal mu ngi ma mel ni comme si sa bakken mi nga def.
Waaw comme yow noonu no space no spacing.
Loolu la ma nekk di saf.
No spacing.
Waaw na gore son. Waaye maa ngi si am si.
Duma la faale maa ngi ko job.
Yaa ngi ko job.
Ma ne maa ngi ko job di.
Doo ko jobut ku la ko job.
Kii bu la ko faale.
Go ahead.
Good morning from wherever you're watching us from. It's your man right here, Churchill Balde, man with the steez. Hanga man come man dama dey evolve with modern day fashion. Wow. Understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
Why Balde family ni munta understand lulu. So mu get beef on my cap. Man mala faale. So my guest is no other than Abdullah. Today we are men in black. Well, family na top and down. Mun ma understand. It's a family thing, innit? Yeah, OTF. My guy. So I'll allow to introduce about beauty of fans out there.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Abdullah. My LG at QCell. I'm a poet, but pursuing as a career for some reasons. But here I am today at the click segment.
But now you want to take it serious. Want to take it on a whole new level.
Yeah. I want to take it to a different level. Different level. I've seen Gizna guys game, but I don't think they can do better than I do. So,
okay. Yeah. So meaning you have what it takes.
I have more than what it takes.
More than I love that.
I have potentials.
So like,
let's really that.
What lamo tanga on this long break? Like, why did you feel the need to take that long break?
Okay, at some point, modern poetry. It was not something that I wanted to do as a career.
Okay.
If you're gonna I just jumped into it, and then I started feeling it.
Okay.
So I started to danka.
So it was more like a passion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at some point, I joined competitions and all of that. So but for some reason I got distracted. So after with job and yeneni, so I participate into it like yeneni.
Okay.
So I kind of like walked away. So that was what.
So what inspired you to pursue poetry as an artistic expression?
Okay, few reasons. One, I wanted to be heard. Like poetry is the only way. Come artist, musician, in they reflect. When you want to be heard, you put it in your music.
Wow.
So as a poet, you want to be heard, you put it in your pieces. So the same thing. And another thing, I love doing it. I love performing art. So yeah. So can you feel on you had this in you? Like this is a very rare talent. Not everybody has this type of talent. Understand what I mean? Spoken words, understand what connecting with people, relating with people, using words, understand what spoken words to be precise. Like when did you feel that you had this talent in you?
this one time when I was at Thai Cafe, I got invited to this open event. Damaran just, you know Fatou Muluchi, right?
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, I was introduced to her one time. So I went to this event at Thai Cafe, just opposite American Embassy. So I was there. So gis naa ñeneen performances, and then I know what I can do. So would like come lugay binda ak lugay am, and how to deliver it compared to what you have. You can see you have a chance in the game. So from there on the set, I have a chance.
So it means both set and you single measure your own potential, and you are like, yo, bro, this is something that I can really do.
Yeah, I knew from the jump that I can do that. Because my new introduced into the game was Omar champion. Yeah, I started with, no, they started before me. So I came into the game after them, the likes of Lala, Kebambay, and the rest. Yeah.
So can you kind of describe your poetic style? Like, what is your own style? Because everybody is unique in their way, or understands their own style. But like, describe your own style of poetry.
Well, if I would say, I'll say my style is. I do my own thing. Like during the Poetry Slam season 3, I came in a different way, different than anybody else.
And what was the difference?
Most poets would come into the show. They would be dressing like all neat and nice. If you look at me today, you think I'm a musician, right? Most poets don't. Most poets don't do this. So they will be acting all nice and everything. But I came to the event with a dreadlocks and a colored hair. So when Immortal showed me, he asked me, "Are you a performer?" I said yes. He said, "Then I look forward to your performance." And after that event, after the performance, he was like, "I've never seen a poet this way. Most of the time they will come accent Kale, dressed in all night with their ties and everything."
Others want to be very corporate.
Exactly.
Pardon me to say this, but they could deal very serious. Like they are very serious.
It's not about.
And I feel like you should just go there and then have fun.
Exactly.
You know.
So when I was standing on that stage, everybody was like, "Kim Luffy for this." Just like they were literally judging. But after the performances, they were like, "Yeah, he's good."
Wow. So. And how do you approach the process of crafting poem? Like, approach it of crafting your poem?
Sometimes it comes to you in different ways. Let's say, for example, I can be in the studio and say, write about the studio. You can write about the cameras, the beautiful things that they can do, the lights and everything. You just put it in creative art, creative writing. So sometimes it comes to you that way. But in this event, they'll ask you, for example, can you write a poem about this? So in that way, the more poems you read or the more poems you write, it gives you more time to be able to write. So if you stop writing or you stop performing, it goes away. So
those of us that are watching and like most of us don't really know what a poem is or how it has been structured. If you were to define what a poem is, how would you define it in your own way?
I would say a poem is, in my own way?
Yeah, in your own way.
I would say it's how I feel. Because all of my pieces, I explain how I express myself, how I feel.
Emotions.
Basically, it is, some poems are sad, others are informative, others are calm, others are hard, they're harsh. It depends on the kind of pieces you're writing.
So, and the environment.
Yes, it depends on that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So can you share some insights of your poem? Like, give us some little sayings right here on set.
Well, give me a piece?
Yeah, a piece. Give us a piece.
Maybe this one piece that I wrote one time, that I performed actually at that. It was one of the pieces that inspired me to do poetry. So it's more like directing it to a woman, but it's not particular a woman. So
and can you share that with us right now?
Sure.
Yeah, nice.
It was on a Friday, under a smoldering wonderful sun, a beautiful sunny afternoon along the sidelines of Caraba Avenue. I walked into a cafeteria. There I met this beautiful lady, elegantly dressed, attractive, charming, and adorable. It was love at first sight the second I saw her. She's said to be born in different regions, styles, cultures, and traditions, and for that, she became for me a symbol of my memory. You see, I was tripped over her personality and rationality, so I sat next to her. But then I felt lost, disposable, and shy to open conversation with her or about her when I knew she could make life more livable for me. But there I was sitting, and there I ordered a wonju drink. You see, I was being observant, and then I realized that she was funny, informative, sad, proud, calm, and also happy at the same time. See, I could not help it when my feelings for her warmed up. It warmed me like my favorite morning tea. Her smile makes me laugh from ear to ear, Her nobility comforted me like a lake in August heat. Her exaggeration melts me from my eyes to my toes. Her voice so tense and hilarious. Her beauty grows and even grew bigger with love. Her voice forces me to listen. Then she speaks. But when she speaks, I almost felt breathless and keen. I mean, she speaks so sweet and soliloquy. The reality in her voice does to me what winter does to trees. You see, her feelings evolves around everything I do. I mean, she is the embodiment of my passion and desires. She is what angels dare to dream, and who she was requires me to see past my ego and see her. But you see, despite her beauty and amazement, I did learn one thing when I came closer, and even closer. Then I asked what her name was. Then she said in a smiley way, I am that will give you the wisdom of your talent. I let you express yourself in my many ways and forms, from music, word, art, and play. See, I introduced the innovation of slang and literature to you, the usage of literal tongues from the simile to the metaphors, the irony, the personification, and etc. See, I taught you the beauty and calmness in which you flow. But then again, I asked who she was. Then she said, I am poetry.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow. My God.
It's a hidden talent.
Bro, like,
is that for your girlfriend?
It's called poetry.
How I fell in love with
It's called
poetry.
I thought for a minute that
yeah,
it's a girl.
Like for a minute you would think that it was for a woman.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you realize that it was about poetry.
I was about to attack you because I know this guy. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to know, like, why am I not surprised that he's talking to a girl, but the ending, understand, says everything.
Yeah.
So let's see.
That's how I fell in love with with poetry. That's how I fell in love with it.
Because I would have come with the he's a ladies man. I'm not, why the ending says it all. Understand what I mean? It's a different dimension. But how do you people, like, how do you do this? Like, yo, there are so many lines that you've just spat right now. Understand what I mean? Like, how do you do this? Like, understand what I mean? How?
Okay. It's easy for you to memorize a piece that you wrote. Very easy. If you are the one that wrote the pieces, it comes to you easily. And secondly, most of the times, we neglect literature in school.
True.
Most of the students, if you tell them the literature, they'll be like, literature,
difficult.
But if you look at it, it polishes your English. It helps you a lot.
It does.
So what I would say is, if they could focus on that, it helps you with your writing. And it makes your English fluent.
True.
But if you stop relying from that, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't help you out.
Wow.
So
that's a very good advice, because understand what I mean. Everybody should work on their vocabulary.
Exactly.
Understand what
Exactly.
I mean. English, it's something lo hamantene come yo lo yango janga school.
Exactly.
And that is a means of communication. It's international.
Yeah.
But certain things, certain steps in they miss, and literature is one of them. Lo more oral, understand, most people are not fluent in English. But it will be very difficult for you to speak. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So yo, how long have you been doing this?
Since 2017, that was my first performance.
Okay.
And since then, I've not been performing consistently. So I've been in and out of it.
So do you mix and blend with the local language, or is just strictly English?
Strictly English.
Strictly
English. With the wall of all local language poems, I'm not very good at that.
Because some both time the fella think a diga la to a certain degree. You get it. Yeah. So
I enjoy it where I come.
English.
Yes.
Hanga yo American. American.
I can do local language.
Simpula, because look again comfortable with.
Bumako gise lampa ital holi ne fes adina bine sabari waliani magisko holko muholma manopko munopma.
That's a piece. That's a line.
Hi. Man amuluma munut.
No, you hanga yo
Hi, amuluma munut.
Talent yabudla. Boluma wene for a minute, anga yo advertisement mom. Yo yana ka veteran. So for a minute, I'm funga nga advertise. No, that's a very good one there. You should consider doing this. We should consider doing this.
No, I'm going to check
No, I'm going to So, we're not going with the questions. Do we still have time?
Well, we have few minutes to go.
Okay,
maybe we wrap up.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a very long time, 2016, 17 to be precise. Understand what I mean? How do you take criticism, understand what I mean, or feedback from people that have watched you perform, and how has it impacted your writings or creative thinking?
Right. Well, if you want to be better, you have to accept criticism.
True.
Everybody has to tell you. Some will tell you your piece is good, others will tell you it's not.
Okay.
So even if they tell you that it's not, it doesn't mean that it's not entirely good. No. You just have to work on the parts that they said it's not good enough. So you being criticized only makes you like be there, air up your game and whatnot. So.
And I feel accepting criticism, especially constructive criticism, so it's an act of maturity.
Exactly.
Because not everybody can handle criticism. Sometimes people get criticized and then it dies down their spirit. Right. They'll be like, these people are not feeling me, you know, I cannot do this again. And then they just tend to give up. Yes. And then all of us have hidden potentials, you know. Somewhere along the way, people will tell you do this, do that, understand, just to help you better your craft. But that doesn't mean you are not good at what you're doing. You get it? So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And have you ever performed at a place or any venue, and then people didn't relate to what you are saying? Have you ever experienced that?
Not really.
Okay.
But there was this one time at this event. How to call it again? What was the event again? Rising Stars Africa season 3? I don't know, season 2.
You were one of the contestants?
Yes, I was there.
Okay.
So Sophia was one of the judges.
Okay.
So I performed a piece called Success, but I didn't think she get it. I don't think she did. But you've been a poet, or sometimes the way you write your lines. But you have to, if you're not listening.
Is it Sophia Baz, the artist?
Yeah, Sophia. She was one of the judges, but. At the end of the day, I don't think she understood what
what you were trying to say.
Was all about. So I was like, really? Well, that was that.
Poetry is deep.
Yeah, it's deep.
It's not the same as music.
It's not the same as like.
Yeah. You see, in music you can come up with just.
We wrap up now.
Yeah, we wrap up with that. Okay, your final words for today, because I'm sure we will have this again.
Okay.
But just what you want to tell people, and what are the upcoming projects that we're expecting from you?
Well, what I would say is, thank you for having me, first of all.
It's a pleasure.
And secondly, to all the poets out there, I'm saying, do whatever you can. Don't limit yourself like I was limiting myself. Anybody that has potentials, you put it out in the platform. Put it out there. Let people support you. Let people hear what you can do. And right now, I'm not working on any project right now. Wow. Right now, I'm focusing on my work for now. But I do write once in a while. So, but maybe hopefully, and above.
You should hire me to be your manager so that I can just instill this in you, that you have to do this, because poetry can make a difference.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
it has.
Absolutely.
It has.
So, Churchill, thank you.
Yeah, so that is all I have for you and my guests. Till I come your way again next week, Churchill Balde with the steez.
The steez. Is it Thursday already?
It's Thursday. What am I doing here?
Do you realize ngeen Friday bi dafa gaaw.
Fat. Okay,
all right, so enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.